You don't want to say hi to the people? Come on, buddy. Come on, say hi to the people.
Welcome,
Come
ladies
on.
and gentlemen, boys and girls, exhibitionists of all ages. This is the 10th episode of the Raw Cuts Gaming podcast.
Woo!
I'm your host tonight, Big D, aka the Naked Gamer, joined by CJ, aka the Solo Gamer, aka the Trophy Hunter,
Yes,
and
sir.
the Hot Taken, Twitter beef making, chicken making, smoking making, gamer extraordinaire, Maverick, aka the Long Rod Sucker. Which we're
I've
gonna make.
transformed myself into a dog.
Yeah, we're gonna make that. Well, he's better looking than you anyway.
That's
We
damn
thank
sure.
you in advance for
Stronger.
tuning into the rarest takes in the gaming podcast sphere. As always, we'll bring you our own unique takes on all things video games, all while recording and publishing our episodes edit free. Because that's the way you like it. We will be bringing you our podcast via all the podcast listening staples every Tuesday. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Breaker, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, and Anchor. If whatever the hell reason you want to watch our faces, particularly not his, you can find us live on YouTube right now.
They don't know who you're pointing to, D.
You sure do, because they're watching me on YouTube.
Shit!
I think we teased a naked gamer episode last week.
Oh shit! I gotta take.
They're calling you ugly.
Well, it's too late now.
Okay,
We've gone too
keep
far.
going. All right. So this week we got a shitload of news. So we're gonna get going. Woods actually.
Hold on.
What?
First, you're letting down our viewers tonight, D, because I believe last week you promised them for the big numero X, which this is, that it would get a little XXX up in here. Take it off! Yeah! Do it! Yeah! All right! I get prepared with the beater.
It's getting
I
sauce.
like it.
I like it.
That's hilarious.
Oh, I love it, man.
You didn't think I'd remember, did you?
It keeps your shit contained. I love it.
It's going to push everyone to our YouTube views are going to skyrocket this week.
Right.
God, I fucking hope so.
You're going to come up with searches for the Trailer Park Boys. It's fantastic.
All I need now is a beer.
That's right.
So, Woods actually streamed near Automata.
I say
2
automata.
times last week. So
I did.
we'll jump right into what we're playing. So Woodsy, why don't you take that away? How was Near?
So the stream was dope. I thought, well, I don't know, because I
was watching it. I enjoyed it. That looked
the best part about the stream was definitely when one of our listeners / friends asked me to help watch his cat, which I don't think I have done yet. So there's that.
Train your cats to watch them.
Now that I'm thinking about that for the first time since Thursday, but to his fault, I told him to text my wife or have his wife text my wife, whatever. In any regard, it was good. I really have to say I liked the first phase of that game. The first phase of that game was dope. You basically play like 3 or 4 different kinds of shooters and a like flying game, all within the first like 20 minutes of playing that game. The combat is dope. For those who haven't played Nier Automata, it is, best way I can describe it is like a combo-based hack and slash combined with like a shooter mechanic. But like when I say that, I don't mean like Call of Duty, like LDS. I mean like Gattaca.
Good bullet hellstorm. Where it's just
bullet hellstorm. So it's maybe it's Gattaca's even right. No, that's the movie. What am I thinking of? Galacta? Whatever. You get my drift. Space Invaders-y. So it's really cool. So the action really had me, and it was just odd for those who haven't played the game. It's not much of a spoiler because it happens within the first, that first 20 minutes, half hour. You fight a giant oil rig thing.
Oh yeah. I'm watching that.
And it gets so crazy so quick. My first thoughts were, wait a minute, is this a Kojima game I'm playing? Because this is some Kojima shit. However, he would save it for the last fucking boss battle, and there'd be heavy exposition on both sides. None of that transpired. We went back to the spaceship where my androids buddies hang out in outer space, where they commanded me to go back down to Earth, and that's kind of where I left off in the recording, or in the stream for the other night. But I took back up the arms yesterday, played for a few hours, and god damn, I have to say, and I didn't want to. I almost texted it to you, CJ, but I didn't want to ruin your day. Haven't really enjoyed it since that first chapter.
Oh, what?
It is like I don't know where to go. The map is really fucking empty and sucks. The bad guys are predominantly easy.
So is it like playing Remnant then?
Oh, I believe we all died many a time in that game.
I wanted to kill myself playing that game.
But you made it all the way through, CJ. So congratulations. So golf clap for the CJ. Golf clap.
So I mean,
I can't figure out. Are you lost or? I can't figure out the upgrade system. I am lost. I'm doing some mission where I'm supposed. I did one of the missions, and the next mission I have, which was from that a dude from the first camp. He's a merchant, and it needs to be to collect various machine parts effectively. And the red area of where I'm supposed to collect these apparently, there's nothing to do there. I've killed it all and found it all. And I don't have any of the 3 parts he needs. And I've gone around and I've beat down every robot I can find. They don't have any parts that I need. And I've made it to this point where I can't advance anymore in this game because I've ran around everywhere like a chicken with my head cut off. I can't get the parts I need, and apparently I don't have the mechanisms required to get past some door in a map. A couple of them. So I'm like fucked right now. I didn't look it up in a guide just because I kind of basically explored every corner of the map I fucking could, and then I shut it down. But yeah, it's just like it's not so much the being stuck that bothers me because that happens in other games, right? Where you might have to YouTube it, but it's the whole like it's open world-ish, but there's not shit in it. Like it's very drab. All the bad guys, like the few bad guys you come across, they all more or less look the same so far. They're not challenging. I don't know what to think. So that's my take. I want to keep going with it, but at least try to get past this next mission and maybe get on to the next area. Hopefully, God willing. And maybe things like ratchet up on the action side again because it's just like it's pretty dull right now. So that's my honest take.
With that games, there's a bunch of like highs and lulls, you know. So I mean that's part of the environmental storytelling they're trying to tell you in that story. So I would say maybe give it at least one more shot, and then maybe I can come on and chirp you a bit to at least get you pointed in the right direction and see. Because I was pretty excited after your first night playing it.
I was too, man. I was really too. I thoroughly enjoyed that first night. That first like hour of gameplay was so intense. Yeah. I was kind of glad I found that camp and could slow it down for 5 minutes. But
you didn't want to slow it down for 2 hours, huh?
Yeah. Well, I think I played for an additional 3 and 3 or 4, and it was just like
we'll give it another run. Maybe this week we can tease that at the end. Maybe we'll find a night to stream again and hop on. And so, as far as what I've been playing, I've been kind of taking a little bit of time off of gaming, but I've been playing a little more of the same. So a little more Fortnite, hit a few more Victory Royales this week. Just been kind of what I've been normally doing is I'll log in every day, do the daily tasks or the weekly tasks, make sure I'm getting all the XP boosts and all that stuff. My goal is to get to level 100 so I can get that bomb Tony Stark skin. So I've been kind of grinding a little bit of Fortnite. Nothing too new to say there. And then I hopped back into Hitman 2, and I finished the last 2 DLC packs. So they had a Siberia pack, which is the sniper, where you just sit around and you snipe dudes, and you're at a jail, and you're trying to take out these 2 targets. You have to take out like 13 other dudes along the way, and they have these snowbanks where you try to like get guys to go over to the snowbank so you can shoot them in the head and they can fall in the snowbank some more. just kind of fun Hitman stuff with that. And then I played the last DLC pack, which was Haven Island. So you go to an island.
It's in like the Maldives. That's the Maldives one, right?
Exactly. Yep. And it's like this high-end resort where the bad guys are there, and they, all about, making people disappear. And so you try to get there and take these 3 characters out. And just a couple of the fun story missions I'll go over pretty quickly here is one of the characters you have to kill is this dude who's really into fitness. So one of the stories has you becoming a scuba instructor, and then you can plant a remote bomb on a Ski-Doo. And you can go up to the dude and the scuba instructor, give him the keys to the Ski-Doo. He's like, all right, I can go on my Ski-Doo now. He goes out into the Ski-Doo, goes up to the middle of the ocean. You just go, click the little bomb, and he just blows up the hill. Another story mission is you can become a doctor, and one of the character's in bad health, so you can actually eventually get him to a room by himself, and you're giving him a inspection and stuff, and you can kind of like pat him down, you get him to turn around, tell him to cough, and then you can take out your stethoscope and strangle him to death. So just awesome, man. I love that game so much. I talk about the game almost every week, but I'm kind of done with Hitman 2 now. So now I'm looking to take on my next game. I think I might be taking on Final Fantasy VII Remake. So maybe this week I'll start on that adventure.
So have you played the original Final Fantasy VII?
I have not. I've heard mixed reviews on if you should play the original Final Fantasy VII or not. Some people say you absolutely should because you have more context. Other people say, it's a completely different game, and dive in because this is much more in depth. So I think just based on my limited gaming time, usually a couple hours a night if everyone goes to bed, I don't know if I have time to do Final Fantasy VII, the original. So I'm done jumping into the remake. So
yeah, I would do the remake first before you ever did the original, because just from what I heard, I love the original Final Fantasy VII, and just from what I've heard, this is just not it's just not what I would want it to be, because at the end of the day, I'm going to get to that part of the game where it's not going to continue past a certain part of the OG, and I'm going to just be like, God damn, am I going to have to wait another 4 years for that shit?
No, probably.
Yeah, at least.
So D, what you been playing, man?
Kind of the usual. Also, Rocket League, Fall Guys, Pants Off, Dance Off, and PUBG. So that's been a fun one to throw in there for the free game. I actually don't mind that, other than Woods brings it up a bunch. The graphics are incredibly shitty for this generation.
And that control scheme is ridiculous.
Oh my god, yeah. I've never seen a game try to do like a direct PC port onto PlayStation before, but all those controls are definitely PC-ish.
Yeah.
You double clicky this button and this button.
Long click this button.
It's nice that it's on PlayStation. It's nice that it's on PlayStation, but
put them all on like one button.
Yeah.
The one button does everything. It jumps, it shoots, it spins.
They need like that Monster Hunter controls, which are always crazy too. But at least where you can like switch between the different various wheel sets or whatever. Yeah, almost sounds nice. Like.
Yeah, but then Fortnite with you guys actually had another 2 for 2 on the Victory Royales the other night. That's right. Siege was there. Woods was there.
Mm-hmm. For those for one of them.
One of them.
Yeah.
And one of them I had 12 kills in the one. That was.
Ooh, doggy.
Yeah, that was nuts.
Oh, so before we move on to news, I would also like to add I played Steep this week for the first time.
Oh, you did? No, that was free a few months ago, right?
It was free a few months ago, but I bought it, like, shockingly enough. I bought it, ways back. And I played it again, and then I just left again because it turns out it was the same game I quit way long ago. So I know we talked about that newer Ubisoft game that was going to come out, or that they just showed the trailers for. But yeah, I guess I wanted to remind myself why I don't need the new one.
I played a bit of Steep as well. It's a game that like you want to be better than what it is, but it's just so I feel like kind of clunky and.
It's a little clunky and it's too arcadey for me. I want it to be more like disciplined. Like it takes no effort to pull off tricks in that game. Yeah. That's really all I have to say about that. Not the biggest fan.
That sucks.
A good PlayStation Plus game.
Yeah.
Play it once or twice and move on.
Can't complain much about free games, right?
Right.
All right. So moving right into news, we got a shitload of it this week. So last week
Yes, we do.
was the PlayStation 5 Mega Super Dope event, where we got almost no news, but some news. We got the list of stuff that's going to be there on launch. Astro's Playroom is going to come pre-installed, like bloatware on your phone. So that's a fun new development.
You'll probably be able to delete that bloatware, though. I'm guessing. Maybe.
No one's confirmed that yet.
That's true. That's true.
Astro's Playroom may have to stay there forever.
I've heard pretty good things about Astro
Yeah, I have too.
from other members of this podcast. So I don't know if it's necessarily bloatware per se, but
right.
That's probably not. I'm just fucking with you guys. Demon Souls. So CJ's massive erosion for that game.
Yes.
That's why he's buying the new console, I'm pretty sure. At launch, right, Siege?
Yeah, what'd you guys think of the extended trailer they put out? Any interest for you guys at all, or no?
Demon Souls
player?
It
not
is
really.
I mean,
Co-op?
no.
No.
Demon Souls. The Souls games, so are everyone but Secure are all multiplayer, where you can co-op together or you can invade other people and basically terrorize them. So it's
co-op and shit, I'd pick it up. Fuck it.
Yeah.
I don't care.
I don't think Demon Souls had co-op, did it?
It did, yeah. Because in my whenever I do get to the Demon Souls trophy list, there's one of the things you have to do is just hunting down a bunch of rare items. So what people do, and they go on forums and they co-op together, and then they have people dropping them items so they can get the necessary crafting equipment. So
I definitely never platinumed it. So,
and they also just shut down the servers on that. So it's not, the PS3 version is not co-op anymore.
Mm.
And then we had Destruction All Stars, and then the new Spider-Man, which we also got shitty news on from the from the Sony side. I think you guys were posting that on Twitter. Not sure if you had a chance to look into it, but looks like the new Spider-Man on PlayStation is going to be digital only, and you have to buy it, even if you have the original, like I do. And then also, turns out your PS4 save will not go into your PS5 digital game, even though it contains the same game you already played.
It's not entirely accurate. So what they're putting out with the Miles Morales game is the Spider-Man remastered. So this gets into the whole remastered art discussion that we can get into later. But what they're talking about that is the Spider-Man remastered saves won't work with the Spider-Man game. So they're treating it as an entirely new game. So it has a new trophy list, a new SKU. It's going to be bundled in the Ultimate Edition of Spider-Man Miles Morales, or I'd imagine you can buy it on its own. But Spider-Man is backwards compatible. So you can play Spider-Man with the PS4 version. You just don't get the enhanced graphics and haptic feedback and everything.
Enhanced graphics, you would have to go back and beat the entire game again.
You have to buy the new game again.
Well, correct. Buy it and then also beat it again.
Yeah.
Well, no, that may not
that
be
gets
true,
the whole
because it'd be optional, because you have all the DLC packs for the new one. You could just play them like as they were compartmentalized, where you didn't have to. I would have never have had to play the main game. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I mean, and then you can re-earn all the trophies, because then if your save came through and you just popped it open, all of a sudden all your trophies would pop all at once. I mean, they're literally treating it as another game, which gets to the whole. We can get into it later, but that's what they're doing with that game. So for better or worse.
And then we had a Sackboy game, and then we had some projects in development: Final Fantasy 16, and then the Hogwarts game.
Yeah, so these are the new games. So they had the Final Fantasy 16, which finally was announced. It's been long in development. I mean, that game was in development. What? You mean a long time? So. What did you guys think about that trailer? Any interest at all? I'm about to start the voyage of Final Fantasy VII, but it looks like to be in the remake. It looks like to be in a similar vein of art style, and then also kind of that action RPG, kind of like Final Fantasy 15 was. So I thought that looked pretty dope. Trailer looked cool. I'm imagining that it's still a ways out in development, though, just because it said all the images were captured on a PC spec'd out to a PlayStation 5, Whereas after that trailer, it said everything was captured in PlayStation 5. So I'm guessing of all the new games announced that we'll get into right here, this is probably the furthest one out. So 2022, 2023, who knows? But I thought that looked pretty dope.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. And then new Hogwarts game for Harry Potter fans.
Yeah, what did you guys think about the Hogwarts thing?
I was interested. Like, even as someone who watched all those movies like way late, like,
Yeah,
it was interesting.
I thought they did a cool job. I'm not. I read all the books back in the day. I watched all the movies, but Harry Potter kind of time for me is come and gone. The game looked cool. You can run around Hogwarts, and it looked way better than that little, obviously leaked early image you had back in the day. But I mean, if for all the Harry Potter fans out there, it looked like a fun game at least for them. So, what any thoughts on Harry Potter?
Being fun. I mean, there's not too many games where you have magic in that sort of realm where you can wander around and level.
It sounds like you have to go through the whole sorting hat too, and you can maybe be put through different classes and all that stuff too. Yeah.
I just think it really depends how they implement the IP. I mean, it could be a game. Put it this way: if without the IP, it's not a good game in its own right, then fuck it, don't care. If it's just if it's a generic action RPG within the Harry Potter universe and Harry Potter skins and all that other bullshit, okay.
Or like it barely turns into like a Telltale game, where it's
right or something, right?
Story you already know,
right? So it really just depends on the quality of the game. I'm not like CJ. I'm not a Harry Potter guy. In the South Park debate, I would be on Team Cartman. I'm Lord of the Rings, but and the Hobbit. But if you want to go down that discussion,
no, we don't need to go down that path.
Yeah, just wasn't super impressed either way by it, I guess, as I'm not a huge fan. But I found the most interesting part about it was like everybody slamming Sony for showing that or getting the hype going for the J.K. Rowling game because she apparently said some really bad things about the trans community over the last couple of years. So
did they have her in it? Because I heard they came out pretty quickly and said that she had nothing to do with the game.
She has nothing to do with it, but she's still gonna make like 15 or 20% off of it.
Yeah, well, I mean, but they still have to hype up the games coming to their platform. I mean, they're not just gonna shit the game out.
There's a bajillion people that love Harry Potter and that know nothing about what she said, right? And kids don't need to even know about what the fuck she said. So, and they're the ones who still love that shit for the most part. So, I don't know. I'm not even gonna go there either way. But hopefully the game is good. I want it to be good for the fans of Harry Potter because they deserve a great game. They've never had one. I don't recall, at least. So, good for them.
I can think of.
Oh, the Lego ones, but I heard those are shit.
Yeah, I mean, Lego ones, they can shit out any IP with Lego, and it usually turns out pretty good.
So, Five Nights at Freddy's. Did you guys watch that one?
Yeah, did. Don't care.
Yeah. And then the stinger for God of War Ragnarok. So
yes, I think that. Yeah, I think what's most interesting with that is the release date. Now,
yeah, that's the most mesmerizing thing about that. Obviously, is just a title screen.
Okay, the 2021 coming out. So then it gets to my mind of okay, is this God of War 2 Ragnarok? Is this God of War the Miles Morales version where it's because the turnaround time between that game and 2021 is what 3 years. So
what's his face? Who's the head of the Cory Barlog?
Yeah,
he has said multiple times that it's a full-blown sequel.
He has. Okay, I didn't see that. So
they and this was way back because people were always like kind of like, oh, where's the DLC for God of War?
Go ahead.
But even going back to that, he had stated, well, we wanted to do DLC, but it just kept evolving and snowballing down the hill, and we just needed to make a second game.
Well, I mean, I get that part of it, but to me, like Miles Morales is not DLC; it's a second game. but it's the Uncharted Lost Legacy, where it's not a full-blown sequel, but it's also not going to be a full 25-hour game. Maybe it'll be a 15-hour game.
Mm.
Because the turnaround time's been pretty tight on this. And so I'm just curious to see, not that I really care, because we always complain about games being too long. And I heard, when Jim Ryan went out, he said video games are too long. We need to start making some smaller, AAA games where they're not 30 hours or 15 hours. Maybe that's what they did with this game. I guess we'll find out more. But 2021, it's exciting to have a launch year, hopefully. God of War.
I can't imagine a world in which that game comes out though, where you're not going to at least go to all of the remaining realms on the realm map. There's no way.
Yeah.
So that in of itself is going to be a pretty substantial experience.
Well, I think Miles Morales will be a pretty substantial experience too. I don't think it's just going to be
true.
A 10-hour thing. So if it is, the more game for me, the better. I like playing the longer games. But like I said before, 2021 is exciting launch year to have God of War coming out. That's pretty sweet.
Call of Duty too. Did you mention Call of Duty yet, D?
No.
I Good.
Forgot about it. It's like man,
yeah.
I forget that it's there.
Right.
Until it's $10 the next.
Because
year.
It's always there.
Or a PlayStation Plus game.
Right.
Right.
Then we got prices. So $500, $400. So launch date November 19. So we all kind of discussed that last week. The other news we got was the PlayStation Plus collection, which is a benefit for the PS5 owners. It's a bundle of games that includes God of War, Last of Us, Uncharted 4, Battlefield, Monster Hunter, Fallout, Batman, Mortal Kombat, and shit. So, CJ, what are your thoughts on the PlayStation Plus collection?
Real quick, launch date November 12th for the PlayStation.
I thought it was 19.
Yeah.
No, it's 12 for like us, Canada, Mexico,
19 is
Japan. Yeah, 19 is worldwide.
My bad.
Yeah.
Worries.
Yeah, the PlayStation Plus collection is dope. It's another good addition. I think it's their way of pushing people digital. If a lot of people bought these games either on disc or didn't buy them at all, it's a good way to give them a big bundle of their, a lot of first-party games, some second-party games, some third-party games, some owned by other studios now. But I think it's pretty cool. A lot of us probably have a lot of these games already, but even the attach rate on some of these games are 20 million when there's 100 plus million PlayStation 5 sold. So there's still plenty of people out there that never bought into a lot of these games. So I think it's a nice addition to PlayStation Plus collection, and I'm curious to see if they do kind of these bundles going forward where they'll just do a big drop of games on you after a while. Maybe they'll do a wave in a couple of years of your, Last of Us 2 and Ghosts and the some other first party games that they didn't hit in this collection. But I think it's a good little carrot for the PlayStation Plus owners, to start the next generation off, to help boost that launch lineup. What are your thoughts?
So I was pretty down on it at first, just because it's like, just arbitrarily you look at that list and more or less on its face, it's like, holy shit, like, great, I own all these games, I don't care. But then I went and actually took a second look at the list, and there are some games on there that I don't own, like Battlefield, 5, what else was it? Persona 5, and I think a couple of their titles, but I own the majority of the games, and I get I'm a collector, and not everybody does that. Hell, I'm a collector that doesn't play them, so it's cool. I think, and I hope, rather, that it is their kind of next evolution of PlayStation Plus / PlayStation Now, and that somehow this thing is going to be almost like a test subject for Sony to see what the response is from the PS Plus crowd, and then maybe those two services will merge. Who's to say? It's hard to tell, but I think undoubtedly this is some sort of test from Sony to see, draw analysis for such a service merger between PS Now and PS Plus.
Yeah, I think PS Now, in my mind, it will eventually probably get folded into PlayStation Plus. We saw Apple recently come out and bundle a whole bunch of their shit together into one streaming service, and I keep hearing great things.
Tiers of it.
Tiers of it, yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if down the road, a few years from now, we see Now get folded in there, kind of PlayStation's current subscription streaming service.
One bit of speculation about it, though, that I'll be very disappointed if it is true, is that what if they replace the free games you get every month? Because what's going to happen with PS5? I'm assuming I'm not getting PS5 games for free until at least a year in anyway, right? But then at some juncture, do they just drop the free game thing altogether?
Well, what happened with PlayStation 4 when PlayStation 4 came out?
I don't exactly recall, to be quite honest with you, because I didn't attach to the PlayStation 4 immediately, and I wasn't smart enough to do the thing on my phone, or, I didn't have a PlayStation 4 account.
Right. So, yeah, I'm curious to see if they go that route. I mean, I haven't heard anything about the free games going away. It'll be curious to see which games come free.
Right.
I don't think it's going to be a year from now when we start seeing PlayStation 5 games come. I think it has to be a little bit of time before we can start.
So you don't think this will replace that benefit? It'll just be an additional benefit.
No, I think it's going to be an additional benefit. And I think we might see more frequent just drops of bundles of games. Right. Especially if PlayStation wants to try to combat other competitors.
Well, and that's what I would think too, except your price is probably going to go up. They won't stick at price point. Right.
Look out for those CD keys. Hop in at $30 a pop.
Yeah.
We may have all just bought 5 years.
Hopefully you guys saw that this week. So CD keys put out when it would end up being 55% off. It was $28 for
$28
for a year. Yeah.
You could buy 5.
Turns out I'm good through 2026 now or 2027. It's ridiculous.
Good to go. So in case they do jack it up, you'll be grandfathered in. Good to go.
Yeah.
Love it. So then the biggest news, luckily we're recording Monday. Microsoft went out and bought Bethesda today. Just decided that'd be a good idea. That one interesting tidbit, Siege, was that you? I can't remember. They paid $7 billion with a B.
7.5.
And that's almost double what Disney paid for Lucasfilm, which is
$4 million.
Just insane. I can't believe the cost on that. But the purchase was not just Bethesda, it was ZeniMax Media, the entire parent company. So now, as a Microsoft exclusive, you would have Elder Scrolls, Fallout, Wolfenstein, Doom, Dishonored, Quake, Starfield, and a bunch of other shit. The other studios included with that would be id, ZeniMax Online, Arcane, Machine Games, Tango, GameWorks, Alpha Dog, and Roundhouse. And then one of the rumors I saw was that's moving for Elder Scrolls 6 to be included day one of its drop on Game Pass for Xbox. So that's a lot to digest, but boys, what do you got?
I saw that today and I was just more or less awestruck just because it's like every time Sony has landed a somewhat successful counterpunch, Microsoft comes with that uppercut, and they've been coming with that uppercut now for a while. Is it anti-consumer? No. This is just, it's business, and we still don't have final answers as to whether or not all of these games are going to be made available for the PlayStation 5 anyways. Is this going to be a step in the ladder to get Microsoft to off the console wars per se and in the service wars? That's what my bet would lead me to believe. But it's interesting. It's a good win for Microsoft. It is. I mean, one way or another, they're going to be making buku buck. I don't know how long it's going to take them to recoup all $7.5 billion plus interest. But I think it's going to take a while. And I mean,
not
shit,
that
man.
Microsoft cares, but
not that Microsoft has to care, right? But yeah, I mean, Disney recouped Star Wars because you could pop movies out and make $1 billion+ on those bitches every year, plus merchandise. How are they going to make all this damn money back with games? Game sales?
So when I woke up and saw the news today, I was pretty excited to see it. This is the first time in my mind that Microsoft came out and really put their stamp down. Now they came out, in the last few years and bought up a bunch of studios, a ton of studios actually. None of which for me ever really moved the needle. I was like, okay, well they bought this studio, and we can get down to the weeds of, Xbox's most recent showcase that showed a bunch of games off that didn't really have any interest to me. But when Microsoft came out and bought Bethesda, I mean, that's been one of the biggest purchases of a publisher that in recent memory, maybe Activision Blizzard combining into one. I don't know.
That's the only one that's even close.
This is awesome. So I was stoked when I saw this because if anything, it's going to push, PlayStation, to try to compete. So
do you think it's going to become like a developer purchasing arms race, though?
It might be, but be curious to see what Microsoft does because, to your point earlier, like I don't necessarily know that these are going to be console exclusive games. Microsoft came out and said that these are going to be case by case basis. Now they already have PlayStation already has deals in place with Deathloop and with Ghostwire Tokyo to be timed exclusives on PlayStation. Will be interesting because it'll be a Microsoft game that's timed exclusive on PlayStation. They're going to honor that deal, obviously, which is, obviously it has to be done. But then the other nugget that came out with that is they're going to go case by case basis with their future games. So the way they make their money back, whenever you spend $7.5 billion, you're not just going to be able to get it back on subscriptions, but if they can get people to subscribe to Game Pass, and then also sell these games for $70 on the PlayStation.
That's why I think they're not going to go exclusive because with that sort of investment, it's
maybe they'll put like some of the smaller, like maybe I don't know, just look at the list here, maybe like Wolfenstein or something as exclusive or Dishonored or some Quake or something. But for the bigger ones like Elder Scrolls, Fallout, maybe those are ones where I'll say, hey, we're willing to have our, to put it on PlayStation. You
trap them behind the play wall for a while.
$70 for the PlayStation owners that don't want to jump to Xbox or hop onto Game Pass, and then they can get their full game sales that way. So, I thought that was awesome.
I would think it would behoove them to turn people on to Game Pass would be to make them exclusive to Game Pass. And Xbox for a little while, because then even if you're
you're timed exclusive there or something,
timed exclusive for Game Pass / Xbox, so you may not run out and want to buy an Xbox, but you may sign up for that subscription in Game Pass.
Yeah, right? that's a good point too. And even if it's timed exclusive, then and then eventually just because that's what.
And if they promise you cross-play and cross-save and all that other bullshit too, then it's just like I might as well, so I can get it on the ground floor.
Yeah. They're definitely building their Game Pass, portfolio, and this is the first time that I said in our little group chat, this is the first big dick swinging move in my mind that Microsoft came out and did and said, hey, because we heard about them possibly purchasing the WB games. Yeah. I'm really glad they didn't because I wanted Mortal Kombat to not go console exclusive. But buying Bethesda for almost twice of what the rumor was for WB games, damn, man, that's definitely a statement. And it's
I kind of like $7.5 billion is not a small amount of money. But given how many studios are actually under Bethesda and the popularity of a lot of those titles, I kind of can't believe it didn't sell for more. A little bit. I don't think considering what WB Games was going for, I would think that,
or they were trying to go for.
Well, but relative to that would-be deal, I would think Bethesda should triple that shit up.
Like 4 or
rumored to
4.5.
be around 4.
4. But then you're going to get what, NetherRealm and Rocksteady and a couple other ones.
The DC games, right?
Yeah, it's all another. Yeah.
But I mean, compared to like the Elder Scrolls and Fallout, I mean,
big, like I said, big dick swinging move, man. And then, like I said, this is the first time that Microsoft really moved the needle for me, saying, "Wow, this is awesome." Because I want PlayStation to have actual competition, especially not just a subscription competition, an actual competition and a publisher, because competition will breed success. And
competition is going to mean they're going to give us Games Pass Ultimate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Effectively.
Yeah.
You know, right? That's what it drives, and that's why competition is good. And despite my selfish desires, I hope Microsoft owns it and runs with it, because that'll make life for Sony fanboys even better. And then I'll just have to go and buy an Xbox or Games Pass or whatever anyway, and they'll get my money because they deserve it for making those good business moves. It sucks for a lot of consumers who don't have that excess capital to blow, but
the one nice thing about Xbox is, like you mentioned, the Game Pass, where you maybe you don't have enough money to blow on a Series S or X, but you can afford $15 a month here and there, and get a whole boatload of new games. So, a feather in the hat to Microsoft, man. That was an awesome move today in my mind. I was stoked to see it this morning.
Yeah, well, and that it just kind of leads into our last topic. We were going to talk about that a whole bunch, and just kind of what Sony's been up to. And my read on that is just Sony's got to be pretty careful here with Microsoft swinging their dick around, to not let Microsoft dictate what this future of gaming looks like, right? Because they're writing on the wall in crayon, guys. This isn't they're not hiding anything. The future is going to be subscription based, and your hardware is not going to matter. They'll figure that out at some other point, probably at the end of this console generation. So yeah, we got 5 or 7 years, but at that point, this is going to kind of be something, right? So we don't know if, like Woods hit on it today, like Games Pass becomes an app that's on your PlayStation, and then just like Netflix, right? You just log into that, and there's all my Xbox games. I can play it there, right? Because at some point, Microsoft's going to say, "Fuck it" on the hardware, because these.
Well, you know who the winner of that's going to be.
So why would Microsoft want to keep that business if it doesn't?
You know who the winner of that thing is going to be inevitably? It's going to be whatever service has the mind sphere so entrenched within consumer society that we don't even think about it as a monthly expense, but a necessity, like Netflix.
Yeah.
Who the fuck even thinks about that $10 to $15 a month?
Right.
And that's where,
not a soul.
And that's why I mean, like, if Sony just thinks they've got this wrapped up because they're Sony and they won the last, two rounds, and they just
foolish as fuck.
Microsoft is going to roll over because they're already trial baking this with rolling your hardware costs into your Games Pass subscription, right? So you're almost there, where you have a game subscription that you could deem necessary for your house. Like, I want an entertainment package, so I'm going to sign up for Microsoft at, say, $25 a month. They send me a box, whatever it is. In 2 years, when that box is up and I need a new one, they ship me the next one. Like, it just becomes a service for your house, right?
Yeah.
I see where this is going, and if Sony just thinks that they can just do business as usual, and in 5 years they're going to put out another box for $500, I think.
Well, I mean, Sony does have PlayStation Now, so let's not, completely blow off. They do have a subscription-based service. I mean, and I've been told time and time again that PlayStation Now is a better service than Game Pass. Now, that was before EA Play got folded in there, and Bethesda got folded in there. But they do have PlayStation.
I think this is a really good time to transition to this week's Raw rant.
Yeah,
that's what we're doing.
Was like.
So, about that press conference, Upon first watching it, was not at all impressed. I don't really care about Final Fantasy that much, at least the newer ones. I never even played 14 or 15. I just kind of have lost interest over the years. The Harry Potter game was, if it's good, great. If it's not, I'm not a Harry Potter fan. I don't really care either way. Call of Duty, it's the same. I don't care. Modern Warfare is great. Modern Warfare has been a good Call of Duty. This looks like a reskin of the original Black Ops or Black Ops 2, which will be great, but it's still just the same goddamn game. And other than that,
don't have to dump 70 on that.
Other than that, it was just deep dives into basically every game except for a few that I wanted to see more of, which were Gran Turismo and Event Horizon 2, or not Event Horizon 2, Horizon Zero Dawn 2. I wanted that. What I really wanted and needed as a potential consumer was for them to showcase to me all of the cool shit their console was going to do. What are all of the services what is the future plan for this one new Sony PlayStation Plus games service? What is the plan? Someone provide me with exposition about what the plan is for that. Tell me, I don't even know with the controller, right? It features that brand new button. What can I do with that bitch? Like, what is that all going to be capable of? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. And the backwards compatibility message, short from some interviews with the Washington Post, and then were passed around the rest of the internet. There was no clarity there. There wasn't a lot of clarity provided on really much of anything. And I don't trust Jim Ryan to say it to the Washington Post, because a lot of this reminds me of the build-up to the release of No Man's Sky. I'm not going to lie. A lot of promises being made. How many of them are kept? Because they're not advertising this shit. This is supposed crap that he's saying in interviews with the Washington Post.
Yeah, they can't be liable for that.
Right. They're not putting that in a press conference as a feature that they are selling.
Or like you said, in an ad where they have to be held accountable for it.
Right. So.
Yeah, looking for that.
Why
am I buying into this ecosystem?
I just don't. I mean, the games are great, and we know the games are going to be there because they've already showed them to us. Some of them twice, a lot of them twice. And they're going to be good because they're Sony games. We know this. And that's great because that's ultimately what it's about, is the games. I get all that. But I also want to know what the fuck I'm buying other than just the games. Like, I need to know the holistic picture. And we know none of those details. It's just so weird.
Yeah,
you can't. And here's my final argument, and that this is all I will say on this. And then obviously you guys can give your rebuttals or whatever the fuck else. We have never, at least I haven't, and I venture to say most others haven't either, known less about a $500,000 consumer electronics device that we're all just willing to drop everything and just fuck it, take my money. Right? New iPhone comes out. You know every goddamn thing there is to know about all the new upgrades and new features and all that other bullshit. Same with the Samsung Galaxy. Same with every other fucking smartphone. Most goddamn PCs. Hell, even fucking NVIDIA's graphics cards. Like, you know everything about those shits. I don't know nearly as much as I should about the console I want to buy versus all of the shit that Microsoft is doing. I know way more about what their plan is, what their offerings are, what their consoles can do, what some of the cool features are of the GUI or of the user interface, rather, so on and so forth. I know if I buy any game right now that it's going to look the best possible in the new console whenever they do whatever graphics patch, and it's not going to cost me a dime.
And load times will be better and all that other good stuff.
All that shit.
Yeah.
I don't know any of that shit from Sony. Really. So it's just, and maybe it goes back to, just the thought that we had already discussed a couple times, where it just doesn't feel like Sony's messaging is all there, and whether at all, really, it's a shit show. First they come out and say, "Oh no, yeah, we're looking to the future. All of these games you're going to have to get a PlayStation 5 for." Turns out they've retracted all that. Going to be able to play the new Spider-Man Miles Morales, Horizon Zero Dawn 2. All these fucking games you're going to be able to play on the PlayStation 4. Why do I need a PlayStation 5?
Tell me the why.
Tell me why I need a PlayStation 5. They haven't said shit. It is ridiculous.
So what was the messaging leading up to the PlayStation 4 that sold you on a PlayStation 4?
Did you see the Xbox One press conference?
Which
yeah.
one? Do you mean
the most notoriously bad press conference in the history of E3?
So the actual Xbox.
I did.
It was terrible. And Sony's rebuttal of "here's how you borrow a disc to your friend," and the dude hands the disc.
So the one point of not having to go all digital games. Okay, what else sold you on a PlayStation 4?
The games, most certainly. The fact that they were upped their PlayStation Plus benefits, which they did here as well. To be fair, the fact that it was the more powerful console at launch, it wasn't close. It was the more powerful console. It didn't have a Kinect in the box that I had to have mandatory.
Oh yeah.
It didn't have cloud DRM. Which was originally mandatory, so on and so forth. So many. Things.
all of what you're saying here is not that off from what we've learned so far from the PlayStation. So, going into the next generation, I think their initial thought was you're going to need to have these console exclusive games, right? And then they came back and retracted that, and I think it was smart of them to retract on that because you don't necessarily want to cut off your 100+ million install base when you're not going to have the capacity to meet the want at launch. There's going to be sold out, and it's going to be sold out for quite a while, and it's going to come back in stock, and it's going to sell it again. So to lock Spider-Man and other games behind the PlayStation 5, I think that would have been foolish on their part.
Right, I agree with that. I agree with that entirely. Smart businesses should not to.
I came out of that press conference with a completely different opinion than both of you guys. I was a little surprised at your guys' reaction throughout the press conference and then afterwards. I wouldn't be surprised if they had that presser in the can already leading into when they had it released, obviously, and sure. they wanted to wait for Microsoft to reveal their pricing, and then once they revealed their pricing, all of a sudden, 6 days later, they had this highly edited thing ready to go. So I wouldn't be surprised if they were just literally waiting on Microsoft to reveal their price to make sure they weren't completely off, or they could just drop this. So I had different expectations going in, and I think both of you guys did. I wanted I went down those with you guys, but I had a list. I wanted to know the pricing. I wanted to know the release date. I wanted to know when I could order the console, and there's two other things I wanted to know: the new games coming and what the release launch was. I had a whole list of things, and they hit on everything. The one thing I feel like they missed on, and we'll get into it here in a little bit, was the release or the when you could pre-order the games, the console. Right. I thought some of they did, and I don't know. You don't know if it was.
I don't think it was necessarily them.
But regardless, they came out and they came out and they took the L on that on social media, saying, "Hey, we fucked this up." Not to say it's a pat in the back or anything, but they did take the L for that.
Time out here, because this is the one point of this discussion that has completely got lost in this whole thing. I guarantee you, more people, just normal fucking regular Joes who actually want the console, were able to pre-order it because it all fucking went out of control. As opposed to having a set date and time where every fucking reseller can set their macro bots up. Yeah, they were going to snatch all them bitches up.
We'll see what happens
tomorrow. Nobody who actually wants a goddamn console is going to
get it. Point. And you made that shortly after. I mean, because I was at my daughter's soccer practice when I ordered my PlayStation 5. Right. So they messed that up. I thought
and all these people out there in the woodwork who want to be like, oh, Sony ruined my day. No, they fucking didn't. Jesus, because this happened, that somehow means that tomorrow you wouldn't be in the exact same place you are now? No, so, why do you assume that you would have gotten one?
Exactly right. And you're spot on with that. But it was still messed up regardless. It was still bungled. But what I wanted to see was the new games. I thought the games that they did do the deep dive in were the games that are launching, relatively close to launch. They showed some new games, your Final Fantasies, your Harry Potter, and then they went to the deep dives on the games that were coming out, which were Miles Morales. They gave a big, more in-depth look into that. I was super stoked, obviously, with Demon Souls, but that's kind of a personal bias with that one. But they went into a deeper dive with that. Call of Duty, there's a huge install base, and that's going to be one of the early games. So this press conference was meant to drum up, hey, here, and this is what PlayStation's messaging is we have the games. So
I get that. But my argument for why I think I built up a lot of personal hype over this, and you may be right. They might have another press conference. I hope they do, because I want to fucking know. But they billed the press conference in July as the games press conference. They billed it as that themselves.
Yeah, and that's what it was.
This was just the showcase. One was the game showcase. This was the showcase. So if it was going to be Game Showcase 2.0, that would have been nice for them to inform the general public like myself about. It was like, I saw the games. Great. I know you got the games. Tell me about the fucking box and what it's going to be able to do and what you're going to do with it and what your plans are. That's what I want to fucking know.
I didn't take that away from when they said I wanted to see the games, I wanted to see the release date, and I wanted to see the price. Those are the top three things, and it hit on all three for me. So I was pretty stoked coming out of this press conference. The pricing is right in line where it's actually spot on with what I thought it would be. I'm glad they didn't make it any cheaper. I don't want them to devalue any of their console. I thought the pricing was appropriate. I thought the $100 difference was good. I think it's going to incentivize people to buy that digital console. Although,
and like from what it sounds like, they're going to make impossible. It up in a pinch,
in spades. Yeah, in the PlayStation Store. This press conference had me stoked. And where PlayStation is going is the games. I mean, I still firmly believe that we're going to have another press conference coming up soon. That's going to get into the nitty-gritty of what you want to see, and we still have time to see that. And the PlayStation 5 is going to be sold out at launch, so they don't necessarily need to have the interface, and they don't need to have all this nitty-gritty on this showcase. This game was meant to showcase the release games and give us a price at the end, and then a stinger with God of War, and that's the direction that PlayStation is going. So for me, it hit on all the checkboxes that I wanted to see out of it. So.
Well, good. Yeah, I think just on my end, it's kind of a combo. Almost, I wasn't quite as angry as Woods.
I don't think anyone else was angry as Woods.
I think it was more on the kind of like we said here, like Microsoft's going out and swinging their dicks around and kind of showing everyone what their roadmap looks like and things like that. And I think I was overhyped to see finally a counterpunch, right? It's kind of what I've been waiting for, like a hey, we're gonna put all this cool shit on PlayStation Now or whatever, right? Like a bunch of games that
and
already, like, sure, but like there's nothing like this.
Yeah, and but the best thing with having a company do that is if it does take off like everyone anticipates it will, it's going to push PlayStation to go that route eventually. Right. And but on the PlayStation side, they have the games, and that's what we're here to do ultimately, right?
Yep.
So I jotted down some games on PlayStation. Demon Souls, Godfall, Gran Turismo 7, Guilty Gear, Horizon, Spider-Man, Oddworld, Project Athia, Ratchet and Clank, Sackboy, Jet the Far Shore, Stray, Solar Ash, and Final Fantasy 16. And those are
Sorry, everybody.
just exclusives.
We are Rock Guts, and part of our shtick is we smoking. I'm currently smoking, so I had to go 10.
Well, hopefully it mellows you out a bit. But I think it's gonna push PlayStation to go that route. But if they have the games that people want to play, that's gonna what makes me want to buy the console, and that's why I'm so excited for Microsoft to throw their hat in the ring with Bethesda versus just all these little random, because the console, the early launch lineup is for Microsoft as Ducks Falls, Avowed, Everwild, Falconeer, Fable, Forza, Halo, Martha's Dead, Hellblade 2, and State of Decay. And a couple of those games moved the needle a little bit, but now folding in Bethesda, that actually gets me a little bit excited.
And stuff like that. Yeah.
So
and you're right. It will be exciting because just kind of racking my brain here. The last time these guys were more toe to toe would probably be in Halo's heyday and like the first Gears of War or two, right? Like when Microsoft had some decent IP that could toe up with Gran Turismo and things like that were on Sony. So I hope you're right, Siege, and I hope we see kind of a return to that blow for blow versus hey, Microsoft's got some old shit that nobody cares about anymore.
One being completely dominant. Yeah. It's never good. I mean, it's never good when there's not that good battle.
Because then they know that they got to come with the heat.
So I'll say what. Let me say one last thing about the press conference that I know CJ, one of your talking points is, well, we got the price. We're really excited about that. I mean, I feel like we all knew it wasn't going to be. I don't think anybody actually truly thought they would go less than 500 because, like you said, they don't want to devalue their own console, their brand. So that sends a message in and of itself. But I don't think also anybody in the right mind thought they were going to go more than $499 after that's what Microsoft set theirs at. It would have been ludicrous. They would have been impaling themselves on their own fucking sword for no reason for going above that console. So I guess I wasn't as excited by the price reveal as I may have been if they would have done theirs first. Just because I never thought for 1 second that it would be more expensive than the Xbox. So.
Yeah, well, the price and rumors from Bloomberg was that the PlayStation 5s were costing like $430 to manufacture, and I think that was a disk drive one, I'd assume. So, they couldn't have gone much lower than the 500, like you said. Anyway,
right.
maybe 450, but.
And I did have a segment lined up for storage, but let's not forget that for a lot of people, I think the three of us included, that 800 gig is going to get to be a real pain in the ass real fast.
What was that article we just read about the rumored gigabyte demands for Call of Duty?
They're just referencing the current one. So the current one is like 200. So that means that, and I'm assuming Spider-Man will be the same way. So basically, you're going to have room for about 8 to 10 games.
Right.
On your
well,
and then
where I think
what I was looking up for that segment I had prepared, but it was like 300. It's gonna be like 350 for an NVMe for 2 tera.
Well, I mean that's where
PlayStation is going to have a huge leg up, in my opinion, is their expandable storage, because Microsoft went the proprietary route with a Seagate drive that the MSRP for 1 terabyte is $219.99. Well, everywhere I've seen it is for $200. Yeah. So it's their expandable storage, but it's a proprietary project they did with Seagate. So whereas with Sony, you're going to have a myriad of third-party options.
Yeah, you just grab one from Newegg and throw it in there.
Well, gaming
on hella sale.
That's where they that's where they cut their margins. I mean, they had to kind of find that balance, and I would have liked to see a little bit more storage, maybe 1.5 if possible, but I'm sure they went as big as they could to keep the price under $500.
Yeah.
Or
Well,
at
but
$500.
and
So.
if I can upgrade the storage,
NVMe is pretty new. You couldn't, you just can't. So that new standard is PCI 4,
right?
PCI Express 4, but that is very new and very expensive.
So what did you say the cost was though for the 2 TB that you saw?
For about 2 TB, like $350. So.
Right, but that price is about to come down big time.
Yes, for that same price, you should be able to get 4 or 6 in the next 2 years.
By next year, you'll be able to get 4 for that price.
Yes, hopefully.
So, yeah, still.
But it's just to the whole point of the console is going to be $500. However, like a whole bunch of us are going to need to spend another like $300 or $350 to expand it like almost immediately because
most certainly.
But
it sucks.
Grab that 2 TB in the interim because the second I have to manage the storage on that every month or two, I'm gonna get pissed off and I'm gonna be done with
it. Yeah, no, you're not wrong there. But that's where at least as a PlayStation consumer, you're gonna have options, and it's gonna be vastly less expensive than what the Xbox is gonna be offering.
It's true, but like we said, competition's good, so
it is.
Has got to that, and they won't be able to keep that proprietary shit on lockdown forever.
No, I don't think
You'll hurt them.
So, all right, CJ, are we okay? You said skip. It's all right. Didn't see it.
No worries, and I think so. Just a little teaser for next week. We'll I was going to touch on Demon Souls trophies with Demon Souls, coming up, but we got pretty ranty tonight, so we won't hold you any longer.
Pile of shame. Woods, did you buy any games that were in your cart? You were saying that there were games in your cart.
They're still there. They're still there.
So
I actually
what's in your cart?
Is a PlayStation 5 in your cart?
Woods and I both tried. We got
Alexa, play I've Got a Golden Ticket.
Oh no, Woods, you did end up getting one, didn't you?
That's right.
You did. Yeah, because you ended
Okay, Alexa, stop.
I
don't actually want
your email, right? Your super secret.
This is how we're going out.
What's in your cart though?
There's a myriad of games from Tony Hawk 1 and 2.
The remaster.
Yep, the Star Wars Battlefront or the new Star Wars.
Squadron.
Pew 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 game. Yeah, I haven't.
Bought it.
It's in my cart. I just haven't pulled that trigger yet. And then there's a couple VR games from the VR sale.
What's on the VR sale?
Oh, there's a shitload. I'd have to sign back into my PlayStation to see what it was. Alexa, stop. I've got a golden ticket. No, seriously. Yes. And I got it. I got it. So, and hey, shout out. I'm not saying you should get a credit card if you don't need a credit card or can't afford what you buy on a credit card. But if you can, PlayStation card, get like 5% or 5 times points on your PlayStation pre-order, which I did. And because I'm a PS Plus member, they're sending it to my house same day it launches in the early morning for free. It was pretty dope.
So what VR games were on sale?
There are a shitload, and I don't have them all in front of me.
Nice.
All right.
Good. Well, that will.
But it will be expanding the pile of shame.
Excellent.
All right, and then
what you buy. Make sure you keep that list. I want to know what we need to put on a poll next month.
Right. You're right. That's true.
So
what about
episode of the Raw Cuts Gaming Podcast? Thanks to you, the listener, for putting up with our bad dad jokes and our juicy, rare, and uncut takes on all things video games. We hope you will join us each and every week for more Raw. Be sure
to tip your strippers.
Yeah, make sure you tip with his mom. Fucker needs to eat a bowl of soup. If you would like to be part of the conversation or just tell us how much you hate us. Hate.
Sorry, hate. I was on mute because I was crying, laughing over here.
We definitely encourage you to reach out to us on Twitter at Raw Cuts Gaming. If you'd like to see this pod recording for whatever reason on YouTube, also the Raw Cuts Gaming channel.
Show them your nipples, D. Show them your nipples.
We're going to get claimed.
Oh, there you go. Oh, yeah. That's going on Pornhub later.
Boom, 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 boom,
I'm going to make you into a GIF.
Also, We're on the Twitches, Raw Cuts Gaming on Twitches. And if you'd like to email us some porn, we're at rawcutsgaming@gmail.com.
Hey, also, all your barbecue tips, tricks,
yeah, that's true.
stories.
We need to start up the Raw Cuts
we'll do another
channel.
Maybe we'll do what you're smoking next week for a little segment too, because I want to hear what you guys have been smoking lately. So
yeah, I gotta take more pictures. I've been doing so much good stuff. We do pizza.
I'm gonna take some pictures of what I got going on there right now. And actually,
picture of that chicken. I should have taken a picture of mine.
I will. And I'm using a glaze I made up.
Ooh. I did
tonight.
root beer this weekend. It was good.
This is So this glaze I'm using, I love that apricot syrup from Perkins. And on Sunday morning, I was just like, you know what? I fucking want pancakes, and I don't want to make them. So I went and got some Perkins to go, and I was like, just put a whole bunch of that apricot syrup in that bag for me. And they sent me like home with like a fucking quart of this shit. And so I mixed a whole bunch with Tabasco sauce. It turns out that's a really good flavor. And so I've been glazing my chicken with that. It's going to be...
Yeah, you have. Woodsy is a sneaky good cook, man. I got to...
Well, and then if you want to get a hold of me, I'm at NakedGamer84 on the Twitters and at noob with the zeros _NakedGamer on the Twitches. Woods, where you at?
Woods _or Wads with a Z.
And he's also on the Twitch's Raw Cuts Gaming channel usually. And then
you'll
be able to see me. It's linked to the Raw Cuts Twitches, so it'll notify you that I'm on streaming. CJ, where you's at?
You can find me at CJ Reindl on Twitter.
Look out for another live stream of Nier Automata later this week. We'll be doing another one.
All right, and you know what? Fuck it, we'll hop on right now too. Get on the Twitches, come say hi. Someone come tell us that they'll Sherpa Woods through Nier Automata.
Hey, if you're on the PlayStation 4, we have a community group that you can join. I'll start a party from that. So if you join a community,
info out on the Twitters, please.
Yeah, I will. It's just Raw Cuts Gaming right on the PlayStation 4.
That was awesome, Woodsy. Thanks for setting that up.
Yeah, we'll just do a party right from there. Yeah. Cheerio.
So, all right, guys.
All right. We'll see you.
Thanks for joining us. Peace out.